Hello Kakuchopurei, I'm Lickety and I'm joined by the lovely Xandals. Would you like to explain where exactly we are?
We're currently at the Thailand Game Show, and today is the last day, so
we're going to be heading over there not too long after we check out this this lovely hotel. But I think we definitely big shout out to Bandai Namco for flying us out here. We've had absolute great time. It's been really fun, to be honest. This is my third time in Bangkok. This is my second time at Thailand Game Show. But this is your first time at Thailand Game Show.
Yeah,
right?
This is my first time attending Thailand Game Show, and it was surprisingly, I didn't think I would have as much fun as I thought I did, to be honest. So
one thing I will have to say though is it's comparing it to last year, the convention venue isn't as big. Because there's another festival going on next week called was it Wonderfest?
Wonderfest, yeah.
Which it looks to be just somewhat of an anime con.
Yeah,
right?
It does look like an anime con.
But I don't really know. You can't really see too much because it's just
it's like blocked off.
Yeah, it's blocked off. So obviously because Bandai Namco has flown us out here, we had a chance to go visit their booth, and we've played some of the games that are available there. For example, SYNDUALITY, which I believe you played. Do you want to talk a little bit about SYNDUALITY Echo Vader?
I played it for quite a bit, actually. SYNDUALITY reminds me of a game that was released a couple of years ago that I used to play. It was called The Cycler Frontier. And then I think about a year ago, they changed it. They changed the gameplay to be somewhat like Tarkov, but essentially it's kind of like a PvP PvE game. So you're a mech, and then you have an AI companion, and you go around kind of like farming stuff, resources, materials, you get weapons, that kind of thing. And there are also other players around, and your AI kind of like they're your companions, so they tell you like where resources can be, whether there are players around you. And I think what I like most is that if you're under leveled against another player, it kind of tells you like, hey, let's run away because that guy is a whole lot more stronger than you are. So it was quite fun, actually.
Yeah, and you also had a chance to sit down with the maker behind, the brains behind SYNDUALITY
yes,
as well.
I did. It was an experience, actually. It was my first time interviewing someone like. And it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but
it always is.
Yeah, and I think what was the worst part of it? Okay, not really the worst. It was great. The only bad thing about it was that I was sitting opposite the air conditioning thing, and after like 5 minutes or so, it would just blast right in my face, and I like. And it's so loud as well, so it just blasts in your face, and all of us would just look at each other and just giggle at each other, and we're like, okay, continue.
Yeah. So, but yeah, going back onto, I guess, SYNDUALITY as well. It's a third-person shooter, looter shooter, essentially,
yeah.
PvPvE. And it looks really fun. The gameplay, the graphics actually look phenomenal as well.
It does, and it was surprisingly very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect the game to be as smooth as it was, actually.
Yeah, and that's to say as well that the game's been delayed again.
Yeah.
Because they really want to make sure that it's up to par and up to their own standards to before it gets released, which is completely understandable. And I think I personally think that a lot more developers should be more like that.
Yes.
I think Cyberpunk 2077 is a perfect example of that. But I don't want to beat a dead horse. But yeah, going on to the next game, another game you played was Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. So how was that?
I've never played any of the Dragon Quest games, so this is my first Dragon Quest that I'm playing. It was very nostalgic because it kind of reminded me of like when I was a kid and I used to play Pokemon. It's pretty similar. Yeah.
From my understanding of Dragon Quest, I understand that Dragon Quest Monsters is its own. It's its own thing. It's its own little subgenre of not subgenre, but what do you call it? Its own sub-brand. In it, like it's just an offshoot, a spin-off, whatever. But it's also it's taken a different approach by taking Pissarro, who from Dragon Quest IV, who is the main antagonist or villain per se, and making him the protagonist. And I according to because I did the interview for that between Yuji Horii and the other guy's name completely escapes me. But the main producer, they disclosed that it takes place at the same time as Dragon Quest IV. So that's, I guess, chronologically that's pretty interesting.
So you
I
just
guess.
see the other POV.
Yeah, it's pretty much the
Yeah.
other POV, which is you're looking through Pissarro's eyes essentially during that time period, where he's going, trying to amass a monster army as he's
But
the
it's
demon
really
prince and
cute,
whatnot.
though.
It is, the art style is really, really
Yeah.
cute. Given it's, it's got quite a sinister title.
Yeah.
The Dark Prince kind of would imply that it's, of a
Dark.
darker tone, but it's really not. It's really colorful and it's really, really cute. It looks like a bunch of fun, to be honest.
Yeah, because what also you could do is when you catch monsters, you can kind of like breed them together, mix them, and they become like a new monster.
Right, yeah, okay. That was the thing that was announced during the press conference on I think it was Friday for us.
Yes.
And then it was announced yesterday as well. Or it might even be getting announced today, actually, because they went on main stage yesterday.
Yeah.
But, well, you can kind of like breed them together, kind of like I guess like the Pokemon fusions.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting. I wonder how many combinations and how much work behind.
Exactly.
Because they would have to like make art for every single possible combination.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. I think one of the things that I thought was cute yesterday is I caught this really big chicken that was flying around.
Okay.
And how he attacks is he kind of just sits on you. He just like.
Right. No, I
so
did see
cute.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
did
was
see
so
it.
cute.
Yeah, chicken that just sits on you. Yeah, that's how it wins fights. Nice.
That would be me if I was a monster, to be honest. So.
And then I guess going off of that, then I guess we can talk about Final Fantasy, which is probably the big name title of this entire convention. Oh my god, the queue was so damn long. So long. Oh my god. It was, I think...
4 hours. 3-4 hours.
Yeah, it was probably
Yeah.
about 3 or 4 hours. I signed up pretty much right as I reached the venue, which was around 12. I pretty much signed up straight away. And I was already 200th in queue. I didn't actually get play my turn until maybe about 4 p.m. So I was just, going around just shooting B-roll pretty much up until then. Leading up to that, that was a little bit annoying, but I guess because it's, it's Final Fantasy at the end of the day, with how passionate the fan base is, it's completely understandable why I had to wait as long as I did. Was it worth the wait? Yes, completely. I think one cool thing that the demo showed off was you're allowed to select between a do you want to play in 4K graphics or would you like to play at 60 FPS? Do you want to prioritize higher frame rate or quality? I opted for quality because I never really played a game at 4K before, and it looked pretty okay. I think it was running a little bit at a lower frame rate, so the animations didn't look as smooth, but the actual art itself looked amazing. It looked
Final
phenomenal.
Fantasy art has always been like.
Yeah, we did a segment on Final Fantasy for main game, and we talk about how Final Fantasy did push the graphics quite a lot during its era.
Yeah.
And it seems to be doing it yet again by utilizing the PS5 to its full capabilities. But I think my only real come off, because I didn't play Final Fantasy 16, so I'm kind of new to to the way Final Fantasy does action, and it is drastically, at least for Final Fantasy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because I haven't played 16. It's completely different from what I expected it to be. Although it is action, it is an action game, kind of what you expect from a game like God of War, for example. It also has a command list, so it's almost like a hybrid between a turn-based and a action. I guess it's even think of like a turn-based, except instead of selecting the skill you're gonna do while it's your turn, you kind of just do it in real time. So as you're fighting and as you're getting attacked and getting beaten up, you can use these spells and potions and stuff like that. Go into your inventory, use a boost or whatever. And yeah, it is. I think for someone who's not really familiar with that kind of those kind of controls, it took me a while. I was the last person in the booth because they do it in demo segments of demo groups of I think 5 or 6 people.
Okay.
And I was the last person left in the booth, and the next group was waiting to come in, waiting on me, because I was just so bad at the new controls.
Oh no.
And I just couldn't. I'm not sure how much I can say about it. I don't think I'm just to be safe, I'm not gonna say anything about it. But I was fighting a boss, and this boss was way harder than it needed to be. I think it was really cool, at least just to, because I've seen clips of Final Fantasy VII, and you get to see Red 13, Cloud, Sephiroth, and Barret and stuff like that. You get to see them in their old forms. I've seen them in the remakes as well, but the Rebirth is, oh my god, the graphics and the new redesigns and everything just look absolutely amazing. Although I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy head, this is definitely like worth buying if you're just a sucker for solo games, and just games with good plots, I guess. It's really a game worth purchasing.
Final Fantasy has always had a good storyline though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it always has, and I think that's the thing. That's really been the only draw for me, at least, for Final Fantasy, is guess trying to learn what the plot is. And the story in general. It is really, really interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Another game that I did get to play was Sandland, which is it's a game based on an anime based on a manga by Akira Toriyama, who is the artist behind Dragon Ball.
Oh.
He also did, obviously, if you play Chrono Trigger as well, which is a cult classic JRPG. He also did the art for that as well. So pretty much all the characters in there just look like Goku. It is one thing I do love about Sandland straight off the bat is that it's cel shaded, so it looks like Borderlands.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
I don't know what it is. I love cel shaded just art styles when it comes to games. They just look so much better and so much just cleaner, like more defined edges, more like the blacks feel deeper, and just the shading just looks a lot more, while realistic, like while cartoony, it still feels real.
Yep.
I got to play a demo of that. You don't really get to explore too much. It looks to be an open, not necessarily an open world, but an open region. So you'll unlock regions by regions, and you could just explore around the regions and whatnot. I guess movement-wise, the open world aspect of One Piece Odyssey, which is a game I reviewed last year. Actually, I found out about it. It was actually at the beginning of this year I reviewed it. I found out about it this time last year when I was back in Thailand for Thailand Game Show. The combat is very different because One Piece Odyssey was turn-based, and I don't really know what you could really compare it to, because the combat is kind of slow. The enemies do have like larger health bars, and it does feel a little bit more challenging than other anime games.
Okay.
Well, anime action games at least. But it seems really, really cool. Unfortunately, I'm still yet to catch up to Sandland, so I don't really know where the story's at right now. So I don't really know where it takes place, where the game takes place in, at least chronologically. But it looks really interesting, at least. Names of characters and the way people interact with the main character, Biel's, who's like just a pink demon. And so the way people react to him is almost comedic. So it's definitely something that I'd like to get into, but other than that though, it looks like a very promising game, and I hope I do get the opportunity to review it when it does come out. So yeah, I think that's about it really. Other than that, there's Bandai was really just focusing on those games, as well as a couple games that are already released.
I mean, other than Tekken as well.
Yeah, and then Tekken was the big one. We got to meet Michael Murray. I got to interview him as well. It went really well. He did that room that we were, the interview room. He found it really, really stuffy actually. So he was like coughing after every question, and I felt bad for the guy, because the air was pretty dry. It was just like in a closed black box. But unfortunately, it is what it is. The circumstances. That's all.
Yeah.
He did it like a champ, really.
I thought the Tekken booth was really fun looking though. It was
the main Tekken booth was an octagon.
Yep.
So it was like literally an octagon for like an MMA fight, and it looks so cool.
It looks so cool, exactly.
So on against like each wall, you had like a setup to play Tekken and whatnot. And then right in the middle, you've got pretty much where the show matches will be, which is, we're actually going to go see another one of the show matches after this. I think it's Michael Murray versus another Thai pro. I think it's Jui Storm. I might have completely butchered that name, but yesterday he was playing against Book, who is probably the top Thai Tekken player. But it was great. I think Michael Murray really understands. He really understands the fan base.
Yes.
I think that's something I definitely got right away from the interview. He's somebody who's very down to earth and he's very connected to the scene.
I think it was very cute. During like the show matches yesterday, he was going around taking pictures of
Yeah.
all the people in the cosplay, and he was like
Yeah.
super excited. I was like,
It's just wonderful to see when you see a dev that
Yeah.
acts like that, and he acts so passionate about the game that he's created, and he's just as passionate as the actual fans themselves. So you know, it's always great to see. On the topic of seeing, you know, Tekken cosplays, you know, just cosplays in general, like how
Yeah.
Thailand does it right, like they really do. I've never seen anything quite
it's
like it.
crazy. I walked into the venue yesterday, and there were just crowds and crowds just sitting down, getting their like ready for their cosplays,
Yeah.
and I was like, damn. And you know, just as you think like, wow, this cosplay is like a whole level of like, wow. You walk into the next room and there's just like another one that's like the amount of effort some people put in, it's crazy how passionate they are about like cosplays.
It's absolutely insane. I think I
Yeah.
noticed this last year, and I'm like, I think because last year I went to Animangaki, and I was like, it was massive. I think just because it was coming off the pandemic, you know, everyone was thirsty to go to
Yeah.
conventions, so everyone was there, and there was quite a boatload of cosplayers. But then I go to Thailand Game Show 2022, and oh my god, so many cosplayers. You could barely like the entrance to the convention center. You could barely move through it, and it was like that yesterday as well, to be fair. And then just the quality of cosplays as well. Like I saw one of Denji from Chainsaw Man with moving chainsaw blades. Another one was I think it was like a 9-foot Gundam. This dude who's just like obviously could not walk, but was just planted in like just planted there and just taking pictures of everybody, standing fucking 9 feet above everyone else. It was insane.
That
It was so
crazy.
it was so amazing, well built as well. It looked incredible, and yeah, just the amount of sheer talent. Like I see a bunch of people cosplaying, and like I'm like, oh, they must be professional cosplayers. But then I see them in line for like a fan meet and greet for actual professional cosplayers.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're just as good. Like
Yeah.
half of them, I swear to God. It's passion. I really would love to see a lot of like you know, kind of replicated a lot more in Malaysia. And I don't think it's really much of a lack of passion, to be honest. I feel like Malaysians are probably just as passionate about anime and
Yeah.
video games as Thai people are. But I think it's something to do with the lack of shamelessness and just the really people do not care here. They don't
Yeah,
really
they really
care
don't.
at all. And I feel like maybe people in Malaysia just care a little bit too much about
For
how
sure.
just, you know, because most of the time people are not going to care, but it's just
Mhm.
more you get in your own your
Your
own
head,
head,
yeah.
and you're just like you start overthinking it, and like, I know this person, you know, if I wear this on the LRT or the MRT, like
Yeah.
people are going to judge me or whatever. Which, to be fair, whenever there is a convention, the MRT and LRTs are absolutely full of cosplayers
yeah,
anyway,
it's
so
true.
you're completely fine. I guess in a place like Malaysia, cosplaying is still seen as a very, very niche hobby, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Which I would love to see change in the next couple of years, and this is definitely something that I believe that Malaysia could learn from Thailand,
Sure.
100%. But yeah, that's pretty much about it for today. You know, we've had a blast. We would talk about more games, but unfortunately, there haven't been many game demos over here. Unfortunately, for at least games that aren't out yet.
Yeah.
So we haven't really had a chance to play anything else really. But you know, again, thank you to Bandai. Absolutely love the games that we did get to playtest, and thank you again for flying me out for the second time. I absolutely love Bangkok now, thanks to you guys. So, we wouldn't be able to do this without you know, people like Bandai supporting us, and obviously people watching this and reading our articles and stuff like that. So we really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy this type of content, then be sure to like, subscribe if you want to see more content just like this, and obviously ding dong that notification bell to be notified when we upload next, because we upload videos every single week. My name's Lixie,
And I'm Xandals,
and we'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao for now. Bye bye.